Hey everybody, what's going on? Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well on this Wednesday as we count down the days to the big game for the number one seed in the NFC West Division crown. You guys know what we're playing for on Saturday. And in this video, I want to take some time to talk about the Seattle Seahawks rushing offense. I want to talk a little bit about the rushing attack because I know that as we head into this final Week 18 game, there are a lot of people still concerned a little bit about this offense, still wondering where the offense from earlier in the season went. They're thinking about games against teams like the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Commanders, and they're wondering where did that go? When is that going to come back? When are we going to start blowing teams off the field with the passing attack? When is Sam Darnold going to get back to throwing 4 touchdowns? Realistically, guys, it's not coming back, and here is the reason why that's okay. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips, and of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today, get to it, and go have some fun with sports this year. Welcome back. So here's the thing with the offense that Seattle had earlier this year, where they had a high-flying passing attack, the most explosive passing attack in football. I suspected at the time that it wasn't going to be sustainable, and it's not surprising that that leveled off. You have to realize that this team, they never had Randy Moss and Terrell Owens at wide receiver. They never had Rob Gronkowski at tight end. They were not a passing attack that you would have expected to be that explosive and that effective. And when it was happening, while it was great and while I really appreciated having it for the weeks that we did, it didn't seem to me that it was going to be sustainable over the long haul for a full season. And it especially didn't strike me as one that was going to be effective throughout the entire year going into January and hopefully February. And we're in December, and this offense seems like it's been gone for a long time. So to me, it's not terribly surprising that the offense has dried up, and I want to talk about something that has developed in recent weeks with the other part of this offense, which is, of course, the running game. I want to talk about this running game a little bit just to illustrate something, and I've talked about this before, and to my bepleasement, which is now a word, I guess, it's actually kind of developed exactly the way I was hoping. So we're going to talk a little bit about the rushing attack here. We're on RBSDM. I'm going to take a look at some numbers. Please give this video a like and subscribe if you're new, by the way. Would appreciate that. So here is every offense in the NFL sorted by rush EPA. And EPA is, of course, estimated points added. It's basically just an estimate of how good each team's rushing attack is at creating opportunities to score points. And it's, generally speaking, a better metric of what rushing attacks are good and which ones are less effective than just pure yards or yards per carry. It really tries to contextualize every single play in the realm of what is creating more points and what is taking points off the board. So this is for the whole season, weeks 1 through 17. So every game that has been played this season, if you sort by rush EPA, you have to scroll pretty far down to get to Seattle. They are 23rd. They are 23rd in rush EPA per play. So negative 0.077. Now, most teams have a negative rush EPA. In fact, only 6 teams don't. So the negative part is not really concerning. The concerning part is the fact that they're 23rd. So they have a nearly bottom order rushing attack on the season. But let's move along through this season to illustrate how things are changing. So this gets rid of the first 4 games of the year. So this is weeks 5 through 17, basically gets rid of September. So no September, just taking a look at October on. We're going to squeeze up a little bit here. Where does Seattle rank? 18th. They're now 18th in rush EPA, negative 0.049. So things do get a little bit better in terms of their rush EPA. And by the way, we also get a slight improvement in success rate on rushing plays, 41% versus 39.6%. Now, if we go to a smaller sample size of more recent data, weeks 9 through 17, so we get rid of the first, I believe this would be 7 games. So I believe this is just November on, because we had our bye week, I believe, in October. But either way, the point is we're taking a look at a more recent sample size. And the Seahawks rush EPA, first of all, it's 12th in the league, right? We are now 12th, so above average. Negative 0.007 EPA, which is very close to positive, which is impressive, by the way. I want to emphasize that. Success rate, more or less the same, about 42%. That doesn't really change all that much, but the rush EPA has gone up pretty significantly, and now we have an above average rushing attack. Now, if you continue to squeeze up, now we go from weeks 12 through 17. So basically the last month plus of football, the last 5 games, rush EPA, we are now 9th. We are now 9th at 0.028, positive. So top 10, that's a good rushing attack, and 41%. So the success rate is not really changing, but the rush EPA is. We are headed in the right direction here. We are now productively and positively rushing the ball. One of 10 teams to do so over that window of time. So I think you guys are starting to get the picture here. You go to the last 3 games. 15 weeks 15 through 17. So that's a 3-game sample size, the most recent 3 games. Seattle is now top 5, 0.085, a very positive rush EPA. Again, one of 10 teams with a positive rush EPA. And I mean, they're a long way away from the top. Teams like Baltimore and Buffalo are just completely whooping. But 0.085 is very, very impressive. And the funny thing is, the success rate goes down to below 41%. So you can see exactly how they're doing it. It's not because of necessarily consistency from snap to snap. It's because of explosive running plays. And if you go to just the last 2 weeks, when the rushing game has been very clearly and obviously good through just yards and yards per carry, Ken Walker had an incredible game against the Rams, and then Charbonnet had an incredible game against the Panthers. They're second place. They're actually a close second place, 0.224, only behind Buffalo, and a success rate of slightly better, but still not great, 43.9%. So you can see how things have developed over the course of the season, and they have gotten better with each passing week. And consider that, like, this sample right here, or excuse me, this sample right here, 12 through 17, this includes games against teams like the Colts and the Falcons. And those are games in which the Seahawks did not run the ball very well. So even when you include games like that, you can see there's been a clear and steady improvement in what they are getting out of their run game. And it's pretty much all because of explosives. It's not because consistency has leveled out. They're not anywhere near a 50% or 50 or even a 45% success rate. They're just getting more out of their better runs. Like earlier in the year, maybe they'd have a really good run and it would be like 9 yards. Now that 9-yard run is going for 25 yards. They had the 60-yard run against the Rams. They are getting more out of their longer runs, and there are a few different reasons why that might be. Could be better blocking downfield, could be just plain better variance on the from the likes of Ken Walker, who is our more elusive running back. So I'm not going to get into exactly why this is happening because I don't think there's any one reason why it's happening. But the bottom line is this rushing attack has improved with each passing segment of games that you go through. And this to me is more important and more valuable as we go into the postseason because I'll say it again. This offense, when it was a high flying, hyper elite passing attack, it felt a lot of fun, but it didn't feel like something the team was going to be able to keep up. It just didn't. If, there are teams out there, that have really prolific passing attacks like that, and it makes sense and it feels like something they're going to be able to keep up. And even those teams, you expect them to level off a little bit in the playoffs because the weather gets worse, defenses get better, and you do on some level expect the rushing attack to have to take over a little bit. There have been exceptions, but for the most part, especially with the way the NFL is at this moment, this does swing back and forth a little bit. You kind of expect the rushing attack to be more prevalent in the postseason, January weather, February weather. Maybe not February because typically the Super Bowl is a controlled climate, but there is definitely a sense that you're going to have to run the ball more if you want to have success in the postseason. So the fact that this team has traded an elite passing attack for what has become a very effective rushing attack is probably good and probably spells better postseason success. All right, I'm going to go and get out of here. More videos coming soon. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think. But to me, this is the step in the right direction that we need if we want to go deep in the playoffs.